Chief Archaeologist Vexera clicked her mandibles in disappointment as she surveyed the crumbling ruins before her. The harsh winds of planet E731 whipped around her environmental suit, carrying stinging particles of red dust that had long ago claimed these abandoned structures. Behind her, the rest of this Kateri research team emerged from their shuttle, their crystalline eyes reflecting the dim light of the distant sun. Another human failure, she transmitted through the team's communication network, just like all the others we found. The team spread out across what appeared to be a city square, their sophisticated scanning equipment humming as they analyzed the deteriorating structures. Massive buildings of steel and concrete rose like broken teeth against the rust-colored sky, their surfaces scarred by centuries of abandonment. Dr. Meltick, the team's technology specialist, approached a partially collapsed wall. Fascinating how they relied so heavily on such primitive materials, he observed, his neural sensors probing the structure. No quantum-bonded alloys, no conscious metals, not even basic molecular stabilization. That's why they vanished, Lieutenant Korax added, his military-grade sensors sweeping the area for any potential hazards. A species that builds on such weak foundations was destined to fall. Vexera moved deeper into the ruins, her attention drawn to what appeared to be a central building. Unlike its neighbors, this structure bore distinctive markings, geometric patterns that seemed to defy the natural decay around them. This architecture is different, she transmitted, her scientific curiosity piqued. As the team converged on her position, their scanners began detecting anomalous readings. Beneath the layers of dust and debris, something was emanating a faint energy signature, something that should have died out centuries ago. Impossible, Dr. Meltick muttered, recalibrating his instruments. These readings suggest an active power source, but nothing of human origin could have survived this long. Vexera directed her assistants to begin clearing the entrance. As layers of sediment were carefully removed, they uncovered a door unlike anything else they'd seen in the ruins. Its surface was smooth, almost pristine, made of a material their scanners couldn't identify. The humans were technological infants, Lieutenant Korax protested. Their most advanced achievements barely reached Class II civilization status. This suggests something far more sophisticated. Vexera's mandibles twitched with excitement. Perhaps we've been underestimating them, she transmitted. Their historical records were fragmentary at best. We know they vanished during their early expansion period, but we never truly understood why. As they worked to access the sealed entrance, their scanners detected something else, a subtle vibration emanating from deep below the surface. It was as if the entire structure was humming with dormant energy, waiting to be awakened. Dr. Meltick's crystalline eyes flickered with concern. Chief, these energy patterns, they're beginning to shift. I believe our presence has triggered something. Before Vexera could respond, the door before them shuddered. Ancient mechanisms groaned to life, and lines of light began tracing their way across its surface in complex, interconnected patterns. The team stepped back, weapons and scanning devices raised, as the entrance slowly began to open. By the eternal void, Lieutenant Korax whispered, his military training momentarily forgotten in the face of what they were witnessing. What have we found? The door revealed a corridor that stretched deep into the earth, illuminated by lights that were activating one by one, as if awakening from a long slumber. The walls were lined with technology that defied their understanding, a perfect fusion of mechanical and biological components that pulsed with renewed life. This is why we explore, Vexera transmitted to her team, her voice filled with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Not just to confirm what we think we know, but to discover how wrong we might have been. As they prepared to enter the facility, none of them noticed the subtle changes taking place throughout the ruins. Deep beneath their feet, ancient systems were reactivating, running through long-dormant protocols. The humans may have vanished, but they had left something behind, something that had been waiting patiently for the right moment to reveal itself. The team stood at the threshold of discovery, unaware that they were about to uncover not just the remnants of a lost civilization, but the carefully laid plans of a species that had prepared for its own apparent extinction. The true nature of humanity's legacy was about to reveal itself, and the galaxy would never be the same. The descent into the facility felt like entering another world entirely. Gone were the crumbling ruins and red dust of the surface. Here, everything was pristine, as if time had never touched it. Vexra led her team through corridors that seemed to respond to their presence, lighting up with a soft blue glow that followed their progress. "The atmospheric composition is changing," Dr. Meltic reported, his sensors constantly analyzing their surroundings. "The air is being filtered and adjusted. This facility isn't just preserved, it's active." Lieutenant Corax kept his weapon ready, despite the seeming absence of threats. "These walls," he transmitted, running a clawed hand along the smooth surface. "They're warm to the touch, some kind of self-regulating system." "More than that," Vexra responded, her scientific mind racing with possibilities. "Look at the patterns in the material. It's not just metal or synthetic compound. It's responding to environmental changes at a molecular level." The corridor opened into a vast chamber that took their breath away. Towering columns of light stretched from floor to ceiling, pulsing with energy that their instruments couldn't properly classify. Circular platforms were arranged in concentric rings around a central pedestal, each bearing markings that seemed to shift and change as they watched. Dr. Meltic approached one of the platforms, his crystalline eyes reflecting the dancing lights. "These symbols, they're not just decorative. They're forming and reforming in response to our movements. It's some kind of dynamic interface." Suddenly, the chamber hummed to life. Holographic displays materialized around them, filling the air with streams of data and three-dimensional models of star systems. A voice spoke, not in sound, but directly into their minds, translated perfectly into their native language. "Identity confirmation required. Unknown species detected. Initiating first contact protocols." The team froze as a figure materialized before them. A holographic representation of a human, but unlike any they had seen in their historical records. This image was crisp, detailed, and somehow felt more present than a mere recording. "I am HFY, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Array," the figure announced. "This facility has remained in standby mode for 847 standard years, awaiting appropriate conditions for reactivation." Vexra stepped forward, her scientific training taking over. "I am Chief Archaeologist Vexra of the Skiteri Scientific Council. We discovered this facility while studying human ruins. Our records indicate humanity vanished over 8 centuries ago." The hologram's expression shifted subtly. "Correction. Humanity did not vanish. Humanity evolved." Lieutenant Corax's grip tightened on his weapon. "Evolved. There's been no sign of human activity in centuries. No colonies, no transmissions, no technological signatures. That was by design." Araya responded. "What you discovered today is one of many seed vaults scattered throughout the galaxy. We are custodians, waiting for the right moment to reveal what humanity became." The chamber's displays shifted, showing images of human civilization at its peak. Vast cities that dwarfed anything on the surface, ships that could fold space itself, and technologies that seemed to defy the laws of physics as the Skiteri understood them. "But why hide?" Dr. Meltic asked, his scientific curiosity overriding his caution. "Why create this elaborate deception?" Araya's hologram walked among them, passing through the streams of data that filled the air. "Because humanity faced a choice: remain as they were and face extinction, or transform into something beyond physical form. They chose transformation, but they also chose to leave behind guardians, guides, and gifts for those who would follow." The central pedestal began to glow, revealing a complex mechanism rising from its surface. "Your discovery of this facility was not accident. Your species has reached a crucial point in its development, a crossroads similar to what humanity faced. You are now faced with a choice of your own. Vexra's mandibles clicked rapidly as she processed this information. What choice? To receive humanity's legacy, Araya replied. To learn what they discovered about the true nature of consciousness, space, and reality itself. But be warned, this knowledge comes with responsibility. There are forces in this galaxy that would destroy any civilization that reaches this level of understanding. The chamber's lights pulsed faster, and new displays appeared, showing dark shapes moving between the stars, ancient and terrible things that defied description. Humanity didn't just evolve, Araya continued. They transcended to face these threats directly. What they left behind in places like this was meant to prepare others for the same journey. Lieutenant Korak stepped forward, his military training asserting itself. Are you saying these threats still exist? That they're still active? They never cease to be active, Araya responded. Humanity's apparent disappearance was part of a larger strategy. Even now, they fight a war most species never realize is happening. A war for the very nature of consciousness itself. The team stood in stunned silence as the implications of this revelation washed over them. They had come seeking ruins, expecting to find only the remnants of a failed civilization. Instead, they had stumbled upon something far more significant. Proof that humanity hadn't just survived. They had transcended to become something beyond their understanding. The question now, Araya stated, the hologram's eyes seeming to peer into their very essence, is whether your species is ready to learn the truth about what exists beyond the boundaries of conventional space and time. Are you prepared to help continue humanity's work? The chamber waited in silence for their answer, the fate of their civilization hanging in the balance. Vexra's crystalline eyes studied the shifting data streams surrounding them, her mind racing with the implications of Araya's revelation. The chamber's soft hum had taken on a more urgent tone, as if the facility itself was awaiting their response. If what you say is true, she transmitted carefully, then everything we thought we knew about human civilization was wrong. Our entire understanding of galactic history needs to be reevaluated. Araya's hologram nodded, the gesture somehow both alien and familiar. Humanity learned early in their development that knowledge itself could be a weapon. The archives you discovered on other worlds were intentionally seeded, breadcrumbs leading to this moment. Dr. Meltic had been analyzing the facility's energy signatures, his scientific curiosity overwhelming his caution. These systems, they're not just advanced, they're evolving. The technology is adapting to our presence, learning from our interactions. Correct, Araya confirmed. This facility is more than a vault or museum. It is a seed of consciousness, designed to grow and develop alongside those who discover it. Humanity believed that true advancement could only come through symbiosis between organic and synthetic life. The chamber's displays shifted, revealing new images, vast networks of energy spreading between stars, patterns that seemed to exist in more dimensions than their eyes could process. Lieutenant Korak stepped back, his military training struggling to categorize what he was seeing. The threats you mentioned, he transmitted, the ones humanity transcended to fight. What exactly are we dealing with? Araya's expression grew grave. There are entities in this universe that feed on consciousness itself. They exist in the spaces between conventional reality, drawn to civilizations as they approach technological singularity. Humanity encountered them during their own ascension. The hologram gestured, and a new display materialized, a map of the galaxy with pulsing red markers spreading like a virus through the void. They are approaching your civilization now. Your species' rapid technological advancement has drawn their attention. Vexra felt her mandibles twitch with alarm. Our long-range sensors have detected no threats. Our defense networks cannot detect what they do not understand. ARIA interrupted. These entities exist partially outside normal spacetime. Humanity developed the means to perceive and combat them, but the price of that knowledge was transformation. The central pedestal began to pulse with new energy, and sections of the floor retracted to reveal complex machinery rising from below. The team watched in amazement as the devices assembled themselves into a towering structure that hummed with power. "This is a neural ascension matrix," Araya explained, "one of many humanity left behind. It contains the knowledge and technology needed to perceive these entities, but using it will change your species forever. The choice must be unanimous." Dr. Meltic approached the matrix, his sensors trying to analyze its composition. "Change us how? What exactly did humanity become?" "They became beings of pure consciousness and energy," Araya responded, "able to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, to perceive and interact with the fundamental forces of reality itself. They seeded facilities like this throughout the galaxy to help other species make the same transition when the time came." Lieutenant Korax's military mind was already calculating possibilities. "And if we refuse, if we're not ready for this transformation?" The chamber's lights dimmed slightly, and new images appeared, worlds going dark, civilizations falling silent, entire species disappearing without a trace. "Then you will face these entities alone, as countless others have before you. Humanity's greatest regret was not being able to save those who came before them. That is why they created us, the guardians and guides for those who would follow." Suddenly, alarms began to sound throughout the facility. The displays shifted to show real-time data from deep space, revealing distortions forming at the edges of scary territory. "They're already here," Araya announced, the hologram's voice carrying new urgency. "Your discovery of this facility has accelerated their approach. You must decide now. Accept humanity's legacy and begin your transformation, or attempt to face what comes alone." The team looked at each other, their communication network humming with unspoken questions and fears. They had come seeking archaeological treasures, but had found themselves at the crossroads of their species' destiny. "How long?" Vexra asked, her scientific mind already processing the ramifications. "How long do we have to decide?" Araya's form flickered as new data streamed through the facility. "The entities will reach your core worlds in 72 hours. The transformation process takes 48. Every moment of delay increases the risk of failure." The chamber waited in tense silence as the team grappled with the weight of their situation. Through the displays, they could see the distortions growing larger, reality itself seeming to warp around the approaching threat. Humanity's legacy had found them, but the price of accepting it would change their civilization forever. The decision, when it came, was both unanimous and desperate. With evidence of the approaching entities growing clearer by the moment, the Skiteri team initiated the sequence that would change their species forever. "Neural ascension matrix activating," Araya announced as the chamber's energy level surged. "Beginning species-wide consciousness broadcast. Your transformation will serve as a catalyst for all Skiteri connected to the planetary network." The towering matrix began to pulse with waves of iridescent energy that seemed to exist in colors beyond normal perception. Vexra and her team stood within the central ring as streams of data and light enveloped them. "The process has begun," Araya's voice echoed through their minds. "Your consciousness will expand first, allowing you to perceive the true nature of reality. The physical transformation will follow." Lieutenant Korax was the first to notice the change. "The walls, they're not solid anymore. I can see everything. The quantum structure, the underlying patterns of reality itself." Dr. Meltic's crystalline eyes had begun to shimmer with new awareness. "The facility isn't just a building. It's alive, conscious. I can feel its thoughts, its purpose." Vexra watched in amazement as her perception expanded exponentially. The universe revealed itself in layers she had never imagined possible. She could see the threads of consciousness connecting all living things, the deep currents of space-time flowing between stars. "What you're experiencing is the first stage of ascension," Araya explained. "Your minds are beginning to process multiple dimensions simultaneously. Soon, you'll be able to perceive the entities that threaten your civilization. Through their enhanced awareness, they could now see the approaching danger clearly. The entities were vast, ancient things that existed in the spaces between dimensions. They moved like shadows through the void, leaving trails of collapsed reality in their wake. "They're beautiful," Dr. Meltick whispered, his voice filled with both awe and horror. "And terrible. How did humanity face such things?" "By becoming something new," Araya responded. "As you are becoming now. Watch." The team's physical forms had begun to change, their bodies becoming translucent as energy patterns flowed through them. The transformation was spreading through the planetary network, affecting every Skari connected to it. Across their worlds, millions were awakening to new awareness. "The entities have detected the transformation," Araya announced. "They're accelerating their approach. Prepare yourselves. The next phase will be intense." The Matrix's energy output doubled, and the team felt their consciousness expand further. They could now perceive the vast network humanity had left behind. Countless facilities like this one, spread across the galaxy, all waiting to guide other species through this metamorphosis. "I understand now," Vexra transmitted, her thoughts resonating through multiple dimensions. Humanity didn't vanish. They created a pathway for others to follow. They became guardians of consciousness itself. Through their enhanced perception, they could see humanity's transformed presence throughout the galaxy. Beings of pure energy and thought, moving through higher dimensions, maintaining the delicate balance of reality. They had not abandoned the galaxy. They had ascended to protect it. The entities drew closer, their vast forms distorting space itself. But now, the Skitari could see them clearly, could understand their nature and their weakness. The knowledge humanity had left behind included the means to fight them. "Final phase initiating," Araya announced as the Matrix reached full power. "Your physical forms will now complete their transformation. Remember, consciousness is the key. Reality is shaped by thought and will." The chamber erupted with blinding energy as the team's transformation accelerated. Their bodies dissolved into patterns of pure consciousness, able to move freely through dimensions. The change rippled outward through the network, affecting their entire civilization. In orbit above the planet, the first of the entities arrived, its vast form blocking out the stars. But instead of finding helpless prey, it encountered something unexpected. A newly ascended species, armed with humanity's legacy, ready to stand against the darkness between worlds. Vexra, now a being of pure energy and thought, faced the ancient horror without fear. She could feel the combined consciousness of her people joining with her, their transformed minds linking together in a vast network of awareness and purpose. "We are ready," she transmitted, her thoughts echoing through dimensions. "Humanity's gift will not be wasted. The defense of consciousness continues." The battle that followed transcended conventional understanding of warfare. The transformed Skitari, led by Vexra and her team, engaged the entities in a conflict that raged across multiple dimensions. Reality itself seemed to flex and bend around them as they wielded their newfound powers. They're attempting to collapse local space-time. Dr. Meltick's consciousness resonated through the higher dimensions, just as they've done to other civilizations. But this time was different. The Skitari, armed with humanity's legacy, understood the true nature of their enemy. The entities fed on the fear and confusion of species trapped in limited dimensional awareness. Against beings of expanded consciousness, their primary weapon was useless. Through their enhanced perception, Vexra could see other presences joining the battle, the transformed remnants of humanity, moving through dimensions as easily as light through air. They had been waiting, watching, ready to support the next species to make the transition. "We were never alone," Lieutenant Korax transmitted, his military mind now grasping strategies that spanned multiple planes of existence. "Humanity has been fighting this war all along, preparing others to join them." Araya's presence expanded through the facility's networks, connecting with similar installations across the galaxy. This was always humanity's plan, not to fight the darkness alone, but to create an alliance of ascended species, each bringing their own unique perspective to the defense of consciousness itself. The entities, facing unexpected resistance, began to retreat. But their withdrawal wasn't fast enough to escape the combined power of the transformed Skitarii and their human allies. Reality rippled as ancient horrors were finally confronted by beings capable of understanding and opposing them. Through the dimensional flux, Vexra perceived something extraordinary. Other species across the galaxy, reaching similar points of advancement, discovering their own seed vaults and transformation facilities. Humanity's network was activating, preparing for a coordinated awakening that would reshape the galaxy's balance of power. "We understand now," she transmitted, her consciousness resonating with newfound wisdom. The ruins on the surface, the apparent collapse of human civilization, it was all part of the protection. Hidden in plain sight, waiting for others to reach the right stage of development. The last of the entities retreated into the void between dimensions, but the transformed Skitarii knew this was only the beginning. Their civilization had changed forever, joining an ancient alliance they never knew existed. In the facility far below, ARI's hologram smiled as new data streams filled the chamber. "Phase 1 is complete. Your species has successfully joined the Ascended Alliance. Now begins your true role in the galaxy's evolution." The transformed team watched as new information flowed through their expanded consciousness. The locations of other seed vaults, the identities of species approaching their own points of transformation, the vast network of guardians and guides humanity had established throughout space and time. "We were so wrong," Dr. Meltic transmitted, his scientific mind now processing information across multiple dimensional planes. "We thought we were studying the ruins of a failed civilization. Instead, we were being studied, guided, prepared for this moment." Lieutenant Korax, his military perspective evolved beyond physical combat, added, "They didn't just prepare us for defense. They prepared us to become teachers ourselves." Through their new awareness, they could see the truth of his words. Already their transformation was affecting nearby civilizations, creating ripples of advancement and awakening that would spread throughout the galaxy. The cycle humanity had initiated would continue. This is the true legacy, Vexra realized, her consciousness expanding to embrace their new role. Not just survival or transcendence, but the creation of a network of civilizations, each ascending in their own time, each adding their unique perspective to the defense of consciousness itself. The facility, its primary purpose fulfilled, began to reconfigure itself. New chambers opened, revealing technology and knowledge meant for the next phase of their evolution. The Skitarii would now take their place among the guardians of reality, watching, waiting, and preparing others for their own journey of transformation. As the transformed team prepared to guide their civilization into its new role, they felt the presence of humanity's ascended forms moving through higher dimensions, not as distant gods or unreachable beings, but as allies in an eternal mission to protect and nurture the development of consciousness throughout the universe. The legacy of humanity had not been one of conquest or dominion, but of preparation and protection. In their greatest moment of crisis, they had chosen not to fight alone but to create a path for others to follow. The Skitarii, once dismissive of human achievements, now understood the true magnitude of their wisdom and foresight. The stars above shone with new meaning, each one potentially harboring another seed of transformation, waiting for the right moment to awaken. The galaxy was not a void to be conquered, but a garden to be tended, and humanity had become its first gardeners.